Hello and good day, everyone. The topic that I will be discussing in this video today is on the classification and types of research. Research is a process of systematic inquiry that involves collection, documentation, analysis, and interpretation of data. As it is a process, there can be different processes that a researcher undertakes. That is why we have some classification and types of research. And research can be classified in many ways. And first, I will be discussing on research according to its purpose. So, research according to its purpose, we will start with the theoretical or the basic. The theoretical or the basic research focuses on generating knowledge, regardless of its practical application. So, here, data collection is used to generate new general concepts for a better understanding of a particular field or to answer a theoretical research question. So, an example of a theoretical or basic research would be a philosophical dissertation. Why? Because it aims to generate new approaches from existing data without considering how its findings can be applied or implemented in practice. The second type of research, according to its purpose, is the applied research. Here, the goal is to find strategies that can be used to address a specific research problem. Applied research draws on theory to generate practical scientific knowledge, and its use is very common in the STEM fields or the science, technology, engineering, and even in medicine. An example would be a market research, because by examining consumption patterns, strategies can be developed for the development of new products and marketing campaigns. Now, research according to type of data or the approach to inquiry. These are the ones that may be most common to us. First is the quantitative. Here in the quantitative research, this is a means of testing objective theories by examining the relationship among variables. So these variables can be measured on instruments, and number data can be analyzed using statistical procedures. And the final written report always has a set structure consisting of the introduction, literature and theory, methods, results, and discussion. The second type of research, according to type of data or the approach, is qualitative. It is a means of exploring and understanding the meaning individuals or groups ascribe to a social or human problem. The process of research involves emerging questions and procedures, data typically collected in the participant setting, data analysis inductively building from particulars to general themes, and the researcher making interpretation of the meaning of the data. And the final written report has a flexible structure. But a researcher who applies the qualitative data must honor the inductive style. So from the particulars going to the general theme. The third research type, according to the type of data used or the approach to inquiry, would be the mixed methods. The mixed methods and approach that is a combination of the quantitative and the qualitative. It involves philosophical assumptions. And here, there is the use of both quantitative and qualitative, because just using one would not strengthen, but using the combined studies, which is the quantitative and qualitative, will give an overall strength of the study greater than just using either one of the quantitative or the qualitative. Now, under the quantitative design, we can also classify other types of research. First would be the survey or the non-experimental. Here, it provides a quantitative or numeric description of trends, attitudes, or opinions of a population by studying a sample of that population. It includes cross-sectional and longitudinal studies using questionnaires or structured interviews for data collection with the intent of generalizing from a sample to a population. So let's discuss longitudinal. What is a longitudinal study? It follows the same sample over time and makes repeated observations. With longitudinal surveys, for example, the same group of people is interviewed at regular intervals, enabling researchers to track changes over time and to relate them to variables that might explain the changes. An example of a longitudinal study is when a researcher examines if and how employee satisfaction changes in the same employees after 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years with the same company. Now, the next would be the cross-sectional. The cross-sectional research designs have three distinctive features: no time dimension, a reliance on existing differences rather than change following intervention, and groups are selected based on existing differences rather than random allocation. The cross-sectional design can only measure differences between or from among a variety of people, subjects, or phenomena rather than change. Another type of study under the quantitative is the experimental. This is the opposite of the non-experimental or the survey. Here, it seeks to determine if specific treatment influences an outcome. This impact is assessed by providing a specific treatment to one group and withholding it from another, and then determining how both groups scored on an outcome. Experiments include true experiments with a random assignment of subjects to treatment conditions and quasi-experiments that use non-randomized designs. Included within quasi-experiments are single-subject designs. Under the qualitative design, there are also several types. First is ethnography. Ethnography is a strategy of inquiry in which the researcher studies an intact cultural group in a natural setting over a prolonged period of time by collecting primarily observations and interviews. The research process is flexible and typically evolves contextually in response to the lived realities encountered in the field setting. Second would be the grounded theory. The grounded theory is a strategy of inquiry in which the researchers derives a general abstract theory of process, action, or interaction grounded in the views of participants. So this process involves using multiple stages of data collection and the refinement and interrelationship of categories of information. Two primary characteristics of this design are the constant comparison of data with emerging categories and theoretical sampling of different groups to maximize the similarities and the differences of the information. Next would be the case studies. The case studies are a strategy of inquiry in which the researcher explores in depth a program, event, activity, process of one or more individuals. Cases are bounded by time and activity, and researchers collect detailed information using a variety of data collection procedures over a sustained period of time. Next is the phenomenological research. This is a strategy of inquiry in which the researcher identifies the essence of human experiences about a phenomenon as described by participants. Understanding the lived experiences marks phenomenology as a philosophy as well as a method, and the procedure involves studying a small number of subjects through extensive and prolonged engagement to develop patterns and relationships of meaning. Narrative research is a strategy of inquiry in which the researcher studies the lives of individuals and asks one or more individuals to provide stories about their lives. This information then is often retold or restored by the researcher into a narrative chronology. In the end, the narrative combines views from the participant's life with those of the researcher's life in a collaborative narrative. Under the mixed methods designs, you also have some classifications or some types. First is the sequential mixed methods. This procedure are those in which the researcher seeks to elaborate on or expand on the findings of one method with another method. So this may involve beginning with a qualitative interview for exploratory purposes and following up with a quantitative survey method with a large sample so that the researcher can generalize results to a population. Alternatively, the study may also begin with a quantitative method in which a theory or concept is tested, followed by a qualitative method involving detailed exploration with a few cases or individuals. The second type under the mixed methods is the concurrent mixed methods. These procedures are those in which the researcher converges or merges quantitative and qualitative data in order to provide comprehensive analysis of the research problem. So in this design, the investigator collects both forms of data at the same time and then integrates the information in the interpretation of the overall results. Third is the transformative mixed methods procedures, in which the researcher uses a theoretical lens as an overarching perspective within a design that contains both the quantitative and the qualitative data. This lens provides a framework for topics of interest, methods for collecting data, and outcomes or changes anticipated by the study. Within this lens could be a data collection method that involves a sequential or concurrent approach. So, in conclusion, the classification and types of research is the overall strategy that you choose to integrate the different components of the study in order to effectively address the research problem. We must take note as researchers that the research problem determines the type or the method of research that we are going to use and not the other way around. So there goes our classification and types of research. There may be other types or classifications which you may have heard that I have not discussed here because actually there are many types and classifications of research depending on varying factors. The ones that I have discussed here are from my sources, which is John Creswell's book on research design and from the Sacred Heart University Library. So thank you all for watching. Have a great day.